For those of you who don't know me, I'm Stephanie Gersulo. I'm one of the admissions counselors at Wagner College. So I've had the pleasure to read several applications, maybe a few of yours, and get to know you guys. And I'm actually an alum of Wagner College, so I graduated in 2014. Unfortunately, I was not a business major. I was an English major and journalism minor. Um, but I definitely took some business classes and they were really, really great. So yeah, I'm just excited to kick off this panel and ready to see where we take it. So I'm going to turn it over to Stephanie Fonda Caro, and she could give a little info about herself.
Yes, you have Stephanie squared in this forum. My name's Stephanie Fundacaro. I'm also one of the admissions counselors here at Wagner College. Some of my territories are New York, specifically upstate New York, Pennsylvania, Maryland, and Virginia. So I might have read some of your applications as well. I'm also an alum. I graduated in 2011. I studied arts administration, which is kind of like the business side of the arts. So I've definitely dabbled in some business courses. And I also minored in marketing as well. So happy to be here.
Hi, everybody. My name is not Stephanie. My name is Dr. Tully, and I am the director of the undergraduate business program. It's so nice of everybody to come out today. I thank you for your interest in Wagner College and specifically the Nicholas School of Business. A little bit of background about myself. I have a doctorate in finance. I have an MBA in finance as well, and an undergraduate degree in accounting. So I come to the business school with some practical experience as well as educational experience. I've been teaching at Wagner for the past 11 years. I have taught at several other institutions in the metropolitan area, and my research is in international finance and financial management. At the college, aside from wearing the hat as the director of the undergraduate business program, I also teach Principles of Finance, which is the corporate finance introductory finance course that all business students take during their studies at Wagner. So I get the opportunity to meet all of the business students, as well as being an advisor and mentor along the way.
Hi everyone, I'm Zoe. I'm a senior business administration student and I have a concentration in accounting. And I'm also minoring in psychology. I'm on the softball team and I'm involved in a couple of other organizations on campus, the Student Athlete Advisory Committee, the Accounting Society, National Society of Leadership and Success, and the Women's Professional Network. I'm looking forward to helping you guys hopefully choose Wagner and understand what our business school is about.
Thank you, everyone. So I hope for those that joined a little late, we just kind of gave introductions and we're going to jump right in. So you could definitely feel free to type your questions in and we'll be happy to answer them. I'm going to start off with a question for Dr. Tully. Can you kind of just go over the kind of, if a student is majoring in business, sort of a roadmap of kind of where they could take it, maybe with some concentrations and things like that. If you don't mind, we'll start with that question.
Sure. So if you choose to major in business, you have 4 areas to choose from as far as a concentration goes. And that would be accounting, which is Zoe, finance, marketing, or management. The nice part about our program, because we are a practical liberal arts, Zoe had mentioned she has also studied psychology. So we find some interesting connections between the liberal arts and the business program. Aside from choosing in the business program, a lot of our students do choose a second major or a minor, and they really run the gamut, but that's one of the hallmarks of Wagner, is giving you that opportunity to create those spaces so that when you leave Wagner, you have this rich background of information that you call on that employers really look for. You are an interesting person.
Great.
Definitely. And say somebody, a student wanted to minor in a concentration, would that be an option?
So we have a lot of students like Stephanie F., who majored in arts admin, for example, and one of the popular minors that goes along with that is marketing.
Yeah.
So that's just one example. I also see a lot of film and media studies as a minor along with business or vice versa. But as I say, they really can pick and choose the minor that they want, but it does boil down to those 4 minors that I mentioned as majors. They can also act as minors. So it's accounting, finance, marketing, and management.
Okay, cool. And you said that Zoe's an accounting major, is that correct?
I'm a business administration major with a concentration in accounting.
Right, right. So can you give us a little bit of an overview of what that looks like for you?
Sure. So I came to Wagner. I didn't know what I wanted to major in. I actually was thinking psychology, which is funny that I ended up minoring in it because I initially just completely dropped that as an idea. But I have always liked numbers and money, dealing with money and stuff like that. So I was like, I'll take an accounting class freshman year. I took it and I loved it. And I was like, I don't have to necessarily choose accounting yet, but I want to be a business major. So I took all the core courses for the business major. Like there's Excel for business, marketing management, Dr. Tully's finance class. I took another accounting class and I decided that I thought accounting was for me and I wanted to pursue a concentration in accounting. So then while I was still taking the other core classes, I was taking each of the accounting classes that the accounting concentration is required to take. And during all of this, I was still taking some of my gen eds and some of my astronomy and
Mhm.
whatever, my English classes and stuff like that. So I really like the liberal arts part of it. I've learned so many things in my classes that I thought were like boring classes that I never thought would be have anything to do with business. And then I've also had the opportunity to take 6 psychology classes, which are unrelated to business, but are so similar and really help in my internships and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's really cool. I love that Wagner provides the opportunity to dual major and then also minor in different things as well. So, you're not just studying business, you're not just studying accounting, but you kind of have a wide variety of different skills and assets. And I think that's really cool.
Definitely. And so you spoke a little bit, you mentioned internships, and I'm sure that's something every student is always thinking about. And maybe you, and we even just had Spencer join us. Spencer is an alum of 2018. Spencer, if you want to just briefly introduce yourself and then maybe talk about, internships you've had at Wagner and kind of where it took you after Wagner.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry I was on a little late, got caught up some work calls, but yeah, so I was a 2018 graduate, dual major in finance and economics. Right now, I work for a hedge fund and we're very busy with everything going on right now, if anyone's paying attention to the news. Um,
What's going on?
just normal stuff. Um, but yeah, so when I was at Wagner, you know, the support for being able to do things outside of the classroom was probably the one of the biggest benefits that I got, because I could take um, something that I'm interested in, bring it to a professor, and say, hey, how do I learn more about this? And they would point me in that direction and introduce me to some people and kind of help me just formulate a plan and get the steps together to go down that path. Um, I went a little crazy. I had 7 internships while I was at Wagner.
Wow.
I don't recommend necessarily.
Impressive nonetheless.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, I mean, that was kind of that was just kind of how things happen. And, just from talking to professors, talking to other alum that I met at like career conversations and stuff like that, gave me those opportunities. And so, yeah, I mean, it was great.
For those of you that aren't familiar with our networking opportunities, Career Conversations is one of the things that our career services offers, and it really is a great opportunity. It's sort of like a big night of networking and making connections. I believe students get even business cards with their name and their major. So it's a really, really great way to meet, people like Spencer and others in the field, so that you can kind of take your connections to the next step. And Spencer, you mentioned you have 7 internships, which is very impressive. Do you mind maybe speaking about, I mean, obviously 7 is a lot, but maybe just a couple that really, really stood out to you, where you feel like you learned the most and what you were doing?
Yeah. So one of them had was in the fall of my junior year that I met a Wagner alum from the networking event Career Conversations in the spring, and she runs an investment bank, and just kind of was talking to her and talking to some other alum, and said that I was looking for internships, and she asked me if I wanted to come work for her in the fall. But that one was cool because that kind of gave me, at the time, let's see, junior year, that was like the first few classes that we started taking that were specific to like finance and investments, and really starting to sink teeth into the business concentration. So being able to have that internship and at the same time be in an investment class was, perfect, because I could take things that I was learning from the internship and ask those questions in class. Or if I learned something in class, I could see how it was applied in the, while I was working there. And so that was kind of like a pivotal one for me, was being able to get that in the classroom and in the field experience at the same time.
Mm.
And you just have to ask. Like, people want to help. I know me right now, I don't have much leverage as a 2 years out of school, but I would love to help people, you know, um, get internships, especially from the Wagner family, and people that have gone through it and have seen both sides are super helpful. If they don't have anything, then they're gonna point you in the right direction for sure.
Yeah, I have to agree. That's definitely one of the really great things about Wagner is the community that we have as like a smaller school. I definitely think our alum network is so strong because your community at Wagner, from when you're a student to after you graduate, and everyone really, really does want to help each other, and that is a testament to that. So thank you, Spencer. And Zoe, let's turn to you as a current student. Maybe you could tell us a little bit about your internship experiences or just some experiences that you've had getting firsthand sort of knowledge on the field.
Sure. So, my junior year, when I was in Dr. Tully's class, she told us about one of the opportunities that the career office was doing. Like, it was the next day at night. It was a speed networking event, and I had seen it in the daily bulletin that they email out, and I was like, I probably should go, but I don't really want to go. It sounds intimidating. But she told us about it and really um, convinced me to go. So the next night I went to this event, and basically how it was run, there were a bunch of students there, and then there were 9 professionals from Staten Island, or some were Wagner alumni. And so it was like speed dating, but speed networking. So we just interacted, networked with the professionals, and then it was like 5 or 10 minutes and we switched. So we met everyone there and they met us. And I really connected with one of the finance professionals who works on Staten Island. He wasn't a Wagner alumni, but he had a good connection with Tara from the career office, and he ended up having me come to his office on Staten Island that Friday, and just to like hear about what he does. He's a financial advisor. Just learn about how their business is run and everything. He didn't even know that there was an internship opportunity, and neither did I. I was just going just for the sake of networking. But he ended up hearing from his boss that in their other office in New Jersey, which is where I'm from, 10 minutes from my house, there was a college internship program that they were just starting to open up, looking for 2 male and 2 female college students. And I didn't have a summer internship yet for that summer. This was in November, but I ended up over winter break then interviewing with their recruiter in New Jersey near my house, and I got the summer internship for that summer after my junior year. That was with Mass Mutual. I learned so much from that. That was my first internship. I learned so many valuable things about the business, but also just about how an internship works. You know, like what are your hours? How do you communicate with a boss or a recruiter or the internship supervisor? Different things like that. And then that led into the internship that I've been working at since last fall semester for over 6 months now. I've been working for Merrill Lynch in the city, which is so convenient how close we are to the city and being able to commute there and have like these great opportunities in on Wall Street and like Lower Manhattan, which is amazing. But without my first internship, I wouldn't have gotten the second one because I wouldn't have even known I was interested in financial services or wealth management. But I was in the career office the first day of my senior year. um, Tara was just helping me update my resume and some things from my summer internship and some of the new licenses I had from that internship. And she was like, "Hold on, I just got an email literally 2 minutes ago from the business support manager at Merrill Lynch, who I had met before at some of the Women's Professional Network events and just from going to that office for different career from the case office, different things that they had going on." And so he knew me and Tara knew me, and he was asking if there was anyone able to work up to 20 hours a week for one of their financial advisors. And I was torn because I was supposed to continue working for my summer internship in the Staten Island office with the man I met almost a year ago at the speed networking event. But I talked to Dr. Tully about it, and I thought having another company on my resume, working for a different company, getting the experience of commuting into the city, having a real like a very structured program versus just working for the other guy that I had met that would just be like a couple days a week whenever he needed me. And I figured this was a better opportunity. I also could take a business elective, the BU 397 class, which is an internship class where I got credit for going to my internship and learning. And I had Dr. Tully was the professor for that, but I just wrote a 5-page paper at the end, and I kept track of my hours every week, and that was able to give me the freedom to take this internship and have one less class and be able to focus more on my internship and just get real world experience, which I think is invaluable. And so that internship it's kind of not an internship anymore. It's just I have a part-time job. I've been working from home now, actually, so 20 hours a week, and it's turned into full-time job offer.
Nice, keeping you busy.
Exactly.
That's awesome. We actually have a question from Riley. Riley says, "Can you tell me about your study abroad programs and what opportunities there are for students who are studying business?" Dr. Tully, do you kind of want to touch on that a bit?
Certainly. So we have a vibrant study abroad program at Wagner, and we have an office that specializes in study abroad, and that office will accommodate all majors. In the business program, we work closely with the student and the advisor to set up your course of study at Wagner in such a way that it creates that space and opportunity for you to study abroad if that is something that you're aiming for in your 4 years. Obviously, certain courses need to be reserved for that study abroad, but we have a broad network of universities in different cities that we work with. We usually find something for everybody. This semester, I had a couple of students in Barcelona. I had one student in Rome, and they usually try to take a couple of business courses and a couple of general education courses and sort of mix the two. The student in Rome, it's a wonderful place to take an art class, so interesting, and then some business courses as well. But certainly we work very closely with students that would like to do that, because I think it enriches your experience, and that's really what Wagner is about. In as many ways as possible, we want to work with you to enrich your experience.
Definitely. And kind of going off of that, we have lots of study abroad opportunities, as was mentioned, whether you want to do the whole year, a semester, or even we have short expanding your horizons trips, which you basically, if you go in the during like winter break, then when you come back in the spring, you take a class kind of on what you were seeing when you were there, or you'll take the class in the fall and then you'll go during the spring break. They're usually like 2-week trips. So there's kind of lots of ways for you to study abroad depending on how you want to do it. And like Dr. Tully said, I definitely think if you can take advantage of that, because sort of one of those like once in a lifetime experiences that you may not get to do again once you graduate. So for sure, go for that. Switching gears a little bit, I do have a question. Maybe this one could go to Zoe. But are there any clubs or different organizations that you are involved in at Wagner that are sort of business related, or maybe networking and things like that?
Yeah, I've been involved in a lot of different clubs over 4 years, but some of the more important ones, I don't know, the student who asked this, but there's the Women's Professional Network, which obviously is only for the women students at Wagner. But this has been like an invaluable organization. It's really ramped up over the past couple of years, which was perfect timing when I was starting like networking and stuff like that my sophomore year. There's lunch and learn events that they put on where we'll meet with different Wagner alumni, just women in business or communications. Really, there's so many different fields that they do it for, but it is heavily a lot of business alumni, and they also just have different or like different meetings. Or there's one time I went to Macy's or Lord and Taylor on Fifth Ave in the city, and we had they took professional headshots there, and then we had just like a little gathering with a lot of the WPN alumni who are involved, and just got to meet. It was kind of a kickoff for the semester. Some other organizations. So I am in the Selects program, which is part of the business school. This is something that you have to be applied and then accepted into. I actually applied my sophomore year and I didn't get in, and then I applied again my junior year and I got in. And it's very select. That's why it's called the Selects. There's 12. I think there's about 12 people in each class that are in it. There's As a select, you get sort of the top priority for whatever internship opportunities or dinners or just different gatherings of different alumni or networking events. And it eventually will open up if nobody is available, but it will open up to the other students. But as a select, you just get like the priority for anything like that, which has been so helpful for me. I've attended so many different events. I've met the new president last semester at the first Selects kickoff. There's just so many different things. They're just so invaluable, each of these different opportunities. And so that's something that I would definitely encourage students to apply for. And like in my situation, if you don't get in, just keep applying, because it's worth it eventually to get into this organization.
Awesome, good for you. I like your persistence there. So congratulations on getting into it. I'm sure it was well deserved. And I know we did speak quite a bit about different internships and your guys' different job experiences, but we are getting some more questions on that. So maybe I want to turn this over to Dr. Tully and just kind of say a couple of different types of internships that you've seen students fulfill, whether it was in marketing or accounting or things like that, maybe some of the highlights there.
Sure. So we have students that go out on internships and they take on all different forms. And it's really guided by the student's interest. Spencer, 7 internships. Zoe, you heard her story. So each student chooses how they want to shape their Wagner experience, and particularly the internships. They're a really important part of our curriculum. It's about practical learning, and that's what the internship is all about. We have the good fortune of being just across the water from Lower Manhattan. There are also a lot of businesses on Staten Island. And you couple that with this vibrant community of Wagner alums and folks who are associated with Wagner, and you really can pave your own path, if you will. Takes a little bit of work. You've heard both Spencer and Zoe speak about networking, but certainly the resources are there to set you up for success. We're not just saying we offer internships. We're offering all of the services to get you to those internship interviews. For example, there was some reference to writing your resume. We have a very active, I guess you would say, a department that works on resume writing, LinkedIn, networking, hosting these events, sponsoring folks who are looking to employ an intern. And so this is all of the resource that's available to you. I had one student this semester who worked for a small startup, and he was in a marketing role that he did a lot of data analytics work for them. They were so pleased, morphed into a full-time job offer for him. And he is now working remotely given the present situation. Some of our accountants go off and work in the Big Four accounting firms as their internships, and that's a very competitive process to go through, but we always manage to get our accounting students placed into those Big Four firms. And again, very often, if they wish to continue, they are offered full-time employment. In the financial world, you heard a lot of Spencer's opportunities that she has had, and Zoe as well. So each student chooses their own path, but there's certainly lots of opportunities. And some students want to go into a big firm with a name, and other students want to go medium or small and gather the work experience. But again, the opportunities are certainly there for you, and that's something we pride ourselves on.
I actually just wanted to add to that too. As far as where you can get an internship from like a business perspective, every company is a business. So if you have an interest in drawing, you could find a digital design or some sort of design company and run the finances for them or run the marketing for them or do the accounting for them. And so if you have like an interest, you can always couple that with your skills and abilities from a business perspective too. And so that's like a really cool thing too, is that with Wagner is being able to couple majors and minors with your primary major so that you can help navigate those interests and get the right experience that you want or need.
That's very cool. Thank you for that. I have a quick question. Let's say I was an undergraduate student. Is there a master's program if I wanted to continue my education on a graduate level in terms of business? Dr. Tully, do you want to answer
Certainly.
that?
So yes, there are master's programs in business, and we have a variety of different programs. So we have a traditional MBA program, and there again, you can either continue with your studies from your undergraduate degree, or sometimes students want to complement that undergraduate degree with a degree in a different concentration, but the 4 concentrations are there just as they are in the undergraduate. So you have accounting, finance, marketing, and management once again in the MBA program. We also have an MS in accounting. So some students who are studying accounting might want to go on and get that MS certificate. Then you have enough credits, units, to qualify to sit for the CPA exam. So it kind of depends on the path that you wish to choose. We have developed this new MBA program so that it's 33 credits. So you can finish that program in a year if you want. You don't have to, but if you want, and you're working and eager to run through a program, there's opportunity there to do that as well. And I have to tell you, I just wrote 3 recommendations today for students who are graduating in May that just don't want to leave Wagner, and they're coming back to study for one for their MBA and the other one into the MS program. So it's just a home that you don't want to leave.
So true, especially coming from Stephanie and I, who were students, and now here we are working again, and even having Spencer here. Yeah, I definitely say that Wagner is the type of place that you want to stay as long as you can. I think we're gonna wrap things up with one final question, and this might be one that's really great for Spencer. What about, like, are there events for specifically for alum once you graduate, like just alum events that are, it's sort of networking, and obviously we have endless resources when you're a student here. There are so many ways that we want to help you, but do you have the experience with any like Wagner alum events that you think are really great?
Yeah, there's actually I forget the name of it. I think it's called Young Alumni Association or um, something along those lines. Or there's some sort of group, I guess, that is geared towards graduates within the last 10 years. Um, and that group, specifically in New York City and the area, they kind of put on happy hours, some networking events and stuff like that in Manhattan, just to keep the Wagner family around, and when people go off and do their own thing, the opportunities are presented to them, and they can pass them on to other people that they know from Wagner, or that they meet who are from Wagner that they didn't know when they were in school or from a few years before or after. So that's one thing that I have gone to, I think, 2 of those events. None recently. I can't remember if they've had one recently, but
You're not allowed out.
So,
Because you're not
no, I
allowed
got kicked
out.
out. Yeah, yeah. They don't want me
I
there.
do want to add something, Spencer, that you did not mention, and that is that Spencer is from California.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Fun
Yeah,
fact.
I'm from San Diego originally.
by the way. And so he has chosen to stay close to Wagner, and I'm so happy for that.
Yeah, that's been you know, definitely a choice of mine to stay out here, and I live in Hoboken right now, and I work in the city. Um, so being close to Wagner just means that I'm able to participate and help out when I can. I was going to come to um, there was another panel that was planned for like a Thursday that had to get canceled, but that was part of actually a class that when I was in school, we also had the same thing, where there's a senior class for the thesis, and they invite professionals back from that are either from Wagner or from different areas, and they come and speak to the seniors about everything and anything, kind of similar to what we're doing here, but geared more towards seniors, for those who are ready to take the next step after school. So definitely happy to still be involved with the Wagner family.
For sure. Yeah, so as you guys can see, you'll have a support group to help you in your education, as well as internship opportunities, careers, and then even afterwards, that community will still be there, because you never know what job opportunities and things like that are going to happen down the road, but you will have your Wagner network to kind of help you get to your next step down the line, for sure. So thank you guys all for joining us today, the panelists and the attendees. It's been really, really great, and I appreciate just kind of talking business with everyone.
Yeah, and if you have any other questions, once we log off, feel free to reach out to myself, Stephanie, Dr. Tully, Zoe, Spencer. We're fully available to answer any questions that you have.
Be happy to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much.
Good luck, everybody. Thank
All right,
you.
thanks. Good luck.
Bye.
Thank you. Have a great day.